Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Nothing But the Truth with me, your host, presidential candidate for 2028, Reverend Dr. Allen Dillon. Now, I've been looking into the TikTok, messages and comments people are leaving, as well as the YouTube and everything else. Well, I figured that since y'all don't actually really know me and you're making judgments just based upon what I say or what I look like, everything else, I want you to know the real me. Now, the real me, this shirt says it all. I'm going to let God fix it, because if I fix it, I'm going to jail. Because the thing is that I actually believe in standing up for people. I actually believe in defending those who can't defend themselves, instead of jumping on a bandwagon or just being a sheep or just agreeing, or following some kind of, cult-like mindset, to where if my views and values and morals don't align with yours, supposedly I'm a Democrat? I mean, come on. I can tell you that I am not a Democrat, but I'm also not a Republican. But here's the thing about me is that I see that both sides have things that could really bring this country, one, back together again, two, heal deep-seated wounds and heal, scars and other things. But there's a lot of you out there, and when I say a lot, to where this kind of cultish mindset has even invaded churches. Now, a lot of you that watch are Christians, but there's also those who are Jewish. And yes, there are some that are Muslim that watch my show. That's why at the end of my show, I address everyone. Is because when I got my doctorate, it was in divinity. Majority of that study was in theology, which is the study of all religions. Now, when I did my thesis, I did it based upon the actual suffrages and migrations and everything else of how the tribes came together, how people came to live upon the lands, those who used to get together and fight side by side before everyone decided that they no longer gave a shit about their fellow human being, especially after Corona shut everything down. It was getting bad before the coronavirus, but after the coronavirus, when everybody was separated and, stuck in their homes and nobody was interacting, all that did was give a lot of fuel and allow a lot of people to do nothing but surf the internet. And to where, unfortunately, there's been a lot of domestic, not, the Nation of Islam or anything else. I'm talking about domestic, like from the Klan, neo-Nazis, white supremacist groups, all that radicalization of teenagers, young adults, and even those who used to, who run those groups. They just decided, hey, let's kick it up a notch, which that was seen during the whole Biden administration. Now that Trump is in office, and I'm not attacking him, but last time, his first election, when he was the president-elect, Charlottesville happened. Now, and to where he said, oh, there were great people on both sides, or good people on both sides. But here's the problem with that, is that when he claims that he's only talking about those who were protesting, the taking down of Confederate statues, stuff like that, and those who were, for taking it down, he was referring to all of the white heterosexual males carrying flame torches who were screaming and chanting, "You will not replace us." Well, I can tell you that by coming from a multi-ethnic heritage, that there's nobody trying to replace anybody. But now, it started when Trump was going to run again after the midterms and all that, to where those who still think that the 2020 election was stolen, and all the January 6ers and all the extremists, it's just gotten worse. And majority of those people are white. I'm not being biased here, but there's also a rhetoric that was underneath the whole Trump campaign, which was that even in churches, to where if you were no longer white, if you didn't support Trump's values, everything else, you had to leave the church, even if you had been going to that church for 20 years. Okay? There's on Max, there's a show called The Whole Truth with Anderson Cooper, and the thing is that it's not just a one-sided view. It's not just the Democrats. It's not just the liberals, that find this scary. There are you, the Republicans, who keep trying to claim that I'm a Democrat, who, have been spouting this stuff as well, and saying that, I'm a Democrat because of me talking about, how Elon Musk is coming in and gutting, the government and the workers, and y'all are saying, oh, well, it's needed, the Democrats need to go. Well, guess what? Do you realize that out of those 2.5 million emails, that 1 million of those went to Republicans, okay? Dedicated Republicans from the states that Trump won in, okay? Let that sink in before you start calling me a Democrat. I'm looking at it from both sides. What I'm trying to explain to you guys, and whoever, and there was somebody who made the comment, no more elections. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's bad enough that we, the United States of America, who were literally the catalyst for democracy and for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to be whoever you want, praise whoever you want, worship however you want. There's a lot of you out there who think that, you know, that God is mentioned in the Constitution, Bill of Rights, or anything else. God is not mentioned except in the Constitution, where it says in the year of our Lord. That's it. But none of the Constitution, amendments, none of the equal right amendments, nothing has God involved. It does not single out a religion. It does not single out a specific kind of people. It's for everyone. It's supposed to be an inclusionary thing, not a pick and choose who we want. Now, when I brought up the whole birthright executive order, which that is being fought in the federal courts, because it is unconstitutional. But some of you actually don't believe that on U.S. soil, that during World War II, America actually had intern camps that were just as bad as concentration camps that the Nazis had. I can tell you, yes, if you actually pick up a real history book, not, a rewritten or glossed over or whitewashed version of it, but the original history of it, there was over 1,500 Japanese Americans and other Asian Americans, because not only were all Asians targeted because everybody thought that they were spies, this, that, and the other, and it was pretty much the only time in history where, the African Americans at that point were like, hey, finally, we're not the most, hated in America. But then after the war, it just went back to business as usual. But even now, there's so much racism and there's so much separatism in our country because the government has continuously marginalized, categorized, and labelized everyone. Because if they can put you in a specific group, if they can put a label on you, if they can, somehow distinguish you as being of a certain, whether it be race, creed, color, sex, sexual orientation, it could be religion, it could be literally anything, But so that way, if even a few people in that specific category that you've been labeled in, start acting up, guess what? That means that everyone who falls under that labelization and categorization and marginalization, they're blanketed. It's everybody who's in that category. But that's the thing, is that we've got to stop this mob type mindset. Because if we don't wake up and if we do not start seeing each other as human beings and as individuals, that not every single person who is Muslim or Islamic is an extremist, that not everyone who is Jewish is, well, Jewish people have been through enough, but still, like, whatever it is that you think that Jews are responsible for, but you guys fail to look at a lot of other things. Okay, even as far as Christianity goes, you guys, as Christians, we are, well, especially like those who are Catholic, they're quick to point fingers at every religion possible in every single way. But yet they spend billions of dollars a year in hush money and allow constantly priests to stay within the Catholic Church and either just be moved around to a different town or a different city in that state or move to a different country. And oh, yeah, that's right. The Vatican even saved 8 pedophiles, priests from the United States and took them into the Vatican where there's no jurisdiction from any country or anything, and had them living there for protection. Kind of sounds like what Trump did for the tapes when he kind of pressured, him and Elon kind of pressured Romania, when they were charged with rape, human trafficking, abuse, all kinds of things. But they were leaned on to be released and given their passport back to come back to the United States, where, yes, the Tates have dual citizenship in the United States and Britain. But guess what? In Britain, there's even females there who, have charged them with the accusations, but also they are looking into the fact of the human trafficking and things that they found. So they could be, so is Trump and Elon going to save them from being, sent to England, to face trial for human trafficking and things like that there? What about the January 6ers that he pardoned for what happened on January 6th and told the Justice Department that they are pardoned in full for pretty much anything related to January 6th? Well, one of the January 6ers had child pornography on his computer. He was distributing it. Oh, yeah. Not to mention creating it. So he's a pedophile and sending child porn all throughout the world and creating it and everything. So that got thrown out because it was only found by the FBI when they went to arrest him because of what he did on January 6th. So, hey, child molester gets pardoned. Way to go, Trump and Elon. Then you have, 2 other sex offenders, child molesters, and everything who were let go because evidence, was found when they were arrested that had to do with child pornography and also child molestation, stuff like that. But hey, let's also, not forget about the felon who had guns, cocaine, testosterone, and now, guess what? He gets pardoned for all that. These are the things that we need to wake up to and pay attention to. Because as the United States, like I said, who started democracy, we have actually been downgraded from having the strongest democracy in the world to where we are on the same level and everything as Chile, as Sudan, as, to where we're barely hanging on to democracy. When also I was watching The Whole Truth with Anderson Cooper last year on the 80th anniversary of D-Day, they interviewed 3 surviving veterans who not only fought in Normandy, but fought all the way to Germany. One of them, and what makes me sad is just thinking about the fact that everything that's going on now with all the stuff that's happening to our government, what is happening to our freedoms, what is going to be happening to our rights. This gentleman was 99 years old, and because he was 19 when he fought in Normandy. Well, he even said, I didn't go and fight, lose 400,000 of my brothers in arms through the different military, nor put my life on the line for this. I can't blame him, because sure, a lot of the millennials and a lot of, Generation Next, that, because I'm 43, I have to say that it drives me nuts that people who are, like my parents' age, like, in their 60s, but even those in their 50s, on down to those who just voted for the first time last year. Do you guys even understand the kind of example we're setting for those who are looking to us to help with the future, to save our nation, to fix our country, to bring it back together, to heal it and everything else? I can honestly tell you that RFK Jr.'s father is rolling over in his grave because of the fact that he was fighting for the stuff that his father believed in at first, until he was guaranteed a position in Trump's administration. And then he cowtailed and just thought, well, at least I'll, have a guaranteed place. That's not who I am. Because for all of you out there who are having their rights stripped, who are every day waking up just wondering how, what laws or, what things am I allowed to do, not allowed to do? Am I going to have a job, not have a job? You shouldn't have to do that every single day. Okay. An example of that is the Haitians up in Ohio. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but JD Vance, he actually falsified information with tweets and memes and stuff like that, when asked about it by a Republican news network, if he had created, and falsified the meme, he was like, "Well, I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that." So that right there, I mean, but the Haitians up in Ohio, guess what? They're helping that community thrive. They're helping businesses. And everybody's focused on the fact that, oh, well, they're being flooded with Haitians. Well, guess what? Do you realize that Haitians have had a sanctuary there in Ohio for over 30 years? Are you even aware that there's a Haitian community, a very large Haitian community in Springfield, Ohio? No, because you guys bought into the whole thing of, oh, she's eating a cat. But guess what? That was actually Trump's favorite phrase, fake news, because that cat that reported that the woman supposedly was eating was actually found alive, So, and then the footage of the body cam or whatever of the officer coming up on a Haitian woman, it was the fact that it was roadkill. And the thing is that, yes, they're just like in New Orleans, because they speak Cajun, and that's where the Cajun culture comes from in Louisiana, is actually from Haiti. They still do the hoodoo voodoo just the same as those living in Louisiana who have Cajun history, who, have descendants from Haiti. So what I don't get is that we keep ripping each other apart. We keep just taking what Elon and Trump say is going to be A-OK, is going to be great for America, is going to improve everything. And as some of you have commented to me that, I need to jump on the train and I need to get on board with making America great again. Well, guess what? America is already great. It's just that we as people can be better towards each other and setting actual examples like we did by forming democracy, which then started to trickle around the world. Now we're becoming the laughing stock. I mean, look at the fact that our own president is quoting Putin, is siding with Putin, and, but yeah, when he was asked about it earlier today, about what he said about Zelensky, he's like, well, I don't remember saying that. Next question. So for those of you who think I'm just a Democrat, no, I'm just honest. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm not going to sit here and just allow things to go on as business as usual, or for our actual governmental systems to be torn apart, for people who get pardoned for, destroying, which is a federal crime, by the way, to deface any kind of federal building or statue or monument, and yet they were all pardoned. But the aftermath of what they did, they were pardoned for as well. So good job, you know. So all of you Republicans who are proud of allowing child molesters and felons with guns and everything else to, you know, get away with murder, literally. You know, I'm not just a Democrat. I'm a human being and I'm honest. But that is my time. So may God, Yeshua, and the Holy Spirit bless you, your family, your loved ones, your friends, protect you from your enemies, protect you from the enemy. Shalom, shalom, and assalamu alaikum.